Amy, even overnight, I was sent video from the airport, from Abbey Gate, and there were thousands of people there overnight trying to get in. Many people were turned away. There's stories of them being turned away because of that urgent alert from the U.S. State Department to stay away. This is what's called a threat stream that they've had for days now. They worried about this exact scenario, that a suicide bomber, and that's our initial reporting, that it was a suicide bomber, gets into one of those crowds and causes mass casualties. And this is why last night it was so urgent and so imminent. And we heard the ambassador this morning, the U.S. ambassador to Afghanistan, say how serious a threat this was and that it was imminent. And they would not have put that alert out if they did not think someone was on their way to do harm. This is truly a nightmare scenario because you have a deadline of American forces getting out of there on August 31st, people trying to get out, and now this explosion at one of those gates. It will surely shut down that whole area, and there will be a lot of questions about what the U.S. does next. One of the things President Biden has said again and again is that he is concerned about U.S. troops. He wants them out of there because the danger is increasing. You also have to wonder how, if they had such incredible intelligence on this, how they were not able to somehow try and stop this. That's obviously an incredibly difficult thing to do, but this is exactly the kind of thing they were tracking for several days.
Yes, and despite, yes, we heard those warnings urging Americans and Afghans not to come to the gates unless they had been specifically ordered to do so because of this threat that they obviously deemed credible. We also heard from Secretary of State Blinken saying there was really no deadline, that August 31st deadline, to get those 1,500 Americans who we believe are still there in the country. But obviously, what does this do to that operation, Martha, to have a terror attack like this, the worst case scenario happen, what Americans were concerned about, what they were warning about, but to actually have it happen, what does it do to the process that already was going to be a difficult task over the next few days?
It really devastates that process. And again, that panic that was already there. I mean, seeing the scenes from last night, hearing flashbang grenades go off to try to break up the crowds, to try to warn them to get away. There is absolute panic in Afghanistan for people trying to get out. Secretary Blinken says, yes, we will keep trying to get people out, but he has not given any sort of plan on how that will happen. How will you get these vulnerable Afghans out? And now, today, they're facing either a stampede, the Taliban, or ISIS bombers. And that really is what it comes down to for all Afghans.
Hey everybody, this is Charlie Kirk, founder and CEO of Turning Point USA. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Turning Point USA.